at least they're men. You know, at least they're not all squawking, and at least they're not nagging. And then they say, "Why did you hit it over there?"
That's
You know what golf stands for?
gentlemen only, ladies forbidden.
Correct.
Yeah. I did see a TikTok video of some professional golfer woman set up a camera to, because she was practice swinging, and a guy came over and told her, "Hey, you're swinging wrong," and did all that, and I'm like, that's funny, but at this point, I almost just immediately don't believe it. I think, oh, it must have been staged. It must have been staged.
Yeah.
He told her feet shoulder width apart, and she's like, "I'm not manspreading. That's for you to do. You can manspreading to me." Feet shoulder width apart. Everything your dad told you about every sport started with feet shoulder width apart.
Yeah.
Here's how you jack off on a dude. Feet shoulder width apart. Look him in the eye. Shake his hand.
Every injury could be dealt with by walking it off.
Yeah,
as well.
walk it off.
Just walk it off. Walk it off. You just got hit in the face with a baseball. Walk that shit off.
Walk it off.
I've had 3 concussions. And every time you get a concussion, you lose some IQ points.
Yeah.
You lose marbles.
Yeah.
That's why you
literally.
only have so many marbles.
Right.
So I've lost a couple marbles.
A few marbles have been subtracted from the original quantity of marbles.
I would have been a genius.
So-
See how smart I am now if I had all my
If you had
marbles.
all your yeah. So I've also had a bunch of concussions. What was your worst one?
Oh, we were playing soccer with 6th graders when I was in 4th grade, which basically they were men and we were babies.
Right. They have
The
full
4th and
fucking
6th grade,
beards.
it's
Yeah.
like junior hires. And they were like, "Soccer's for pussies. Let's play rugby." And we were like, "Well, I'm not a pussy, and I'm a straight man like you, so
Yeah.
I'd love to play rugby."
Let's do this.
And it turned into smear the queer. And I was going for the ball. I had a 6th grader on either end of me, flanking me, going towards the ball. And I don't know what I tripped on. It was either them or a rock or somebody. I tripped on something, and then my head hit the ball, and like I got whiplashed, like on the ground. The ball's on the ground. I fell on the ball and went, "It."
Boom. Yeah.
And then I was a rock somewhere also, and I woke up with just a circle of heads around me, and threw up.
yeah.
And then I went in to school for an English test, and they were like, "You don't look right." So they called my dad. I went to the hospital. I threw up again. That's probably the worst. The first one was the worst one.
Yeah.
And then there's this monkey kid named Fawhay. He was like Algerian, like huge arms. In junior high, if he couldn't make a layup, he'd get pissed and just fling the ball across the gym. And that caught me on the side of the head. And then he was throwing, same dude, like a week later, was throwing 3-pointers from like the half line, and I was under the rim trying to get layups or whatever from another game that was happening, and he hit me. And you pass out a lot easier from getting hit in the head after the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they compound or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then after all that, 35 years later, Josh gets a prescription for fucking a Tylenol with codeine and antibiotics for his root canal. And he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to get the prescription till tomorrow."
Yeah.
And then what was it? The next day you got the prescription, and then you saw that both you said both bottles started with A. So you're just like, "Oh, I'll just take the one of them and start taking it because that's the antibiotic."
Yeah.
But instead of like going through his full antibiotic cycle, he was just taking painkillers all day.
I
Nice.
was high at work for like 2 days.
Yeah.
I didn't bring the amoxicillin to work. I brought the acetaminophen to work, and I took it every 4 hours like I was supposed to. I took a nap in the breastfeeding room. The pregnant girl got mad.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
My boss was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I was up all night playing Final Fantasy. Leave me alone."
Dude, I totally forgot about this. They installed those rooms at Blizzard, and they called them something. They didn't call them breastfeeding rooms. They called them like
Cosby room. I think it was the Bill Cosby room, right?
Yeah.
it was like Cosby. That's how it all got started.
It was a Harvey Weinstein room, the Bill Cosby room. It had ferns in it.
They called it something. And one day I had been at work for like, it's like back in those days where you're like, I was at work for like 26 hours or some shit. And I'm like, I'm just going to go into the room, the necessary, fuck, I wish I could remember what it's called. Anyway, I go into the room that's not named the breastfeeding room, and I take a nap. And when I wake up, there's an HR person standing outside.
Yeah.
Because I locked the door. They can get in.
Perfect dark.
Perfect dark. It was totally silent. I took an hour nap. I felt way better, and I come out, and they were like, "What were you doing in there?" I was like, "Oh, I was taking a nap." And they're like, "This isn't for you." And I'm like, "Oh, it says I mean, well, whatever it says, right?
I'm a man. There's a recliner in there, and I'm a man.
It wasn't called a
It's
mother's
not
room.
like ready room or rest focus room.
It was it was something like that,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it didn't
yeah.
say women only or breastfeeding room. Which, by the way, if
Yeah.
it did say that, I would have steered fucking clear of that
Yeah.
place. Like,
So lazy
wanna-
boys are the N-words of women. They're taking it back from us. They have little lazy boy rooms at work that we can't go
Yeah.
near.
that we can't go near.
That
Yeah,
we can't have
Yeah.
that water fountain.
Was that the only room for that?
That was the only room in that building for
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Was there a breastfeeding mother that was trying to get into the room that you had stopped from?
How many breastfeeding mothers you think worked at Blizzard?
Was there like milk? Was there milk all over the doorknob? Frustrated, sprayed milk all over the door when you came out.
Yeah.
I was trying to
damn
get
it.
in there and pump.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I guess that was even before trans women started getting jobs.
Yeah. Oh.
In
Yeah.
video
Yeah,
games.
it's way before.
But
Yeah.
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 Have you ever seen the clip of? So there's this show called The Good Doctor. And
I know about that
it's
show. I
about like a
haven't
kid
seen it.
who's autistic. He's like Doogie
Yeah.
Howser, but he's autistic.
Yeah.
And there's an episode, I guess, where there was someone born male identified as female. She's like, I'm a woman. He's like, that is impossible. You X chromosome, XY chromosome. There's no difference. There are only two sexes. You know, he's doing this whole autistic thing.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to figure out, doing the whole house MD where they're trying to figure out what's wrong with this woman. And and then like right before a commercial break, they're like, we figured it out. She has testicular cancer. Dun dun dun. And the autistic guy's just like,
That's a cool way to get out of being transphobe.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm autistic, and I
Oh,
have
yeah.
to have things a certain way. And
Right.
I'm used to binary stuff.
yeah.
You ableist
So,
fuck.
sorry.
Yeah. You ableist fuckers.
BLM versus Karens all over again.
Yeah.
It's autistic versus transphobes.
Yeah.
Who's the more fragile?
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, by the way, it's the God Awful Gospel Hour, and we're back. It's me. It's Josh. It's Chris. It's all of us.
It's the Jizz Boys.
This what the slatriarchy? I like the slatriarchy.
The gatriarchy.
Yeah.
Gatriarchy.
Did you watch SNL?
I did not.
It was the first time we've watched a full episode in years.
Was it Shane Gillis?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I should watch it.
It wasn't that good,
Yeah.
No.
but it wasn't his fault.
It
It
was
was
better
SNL sucks. Like, so Colin Jost and Michael Che, they're still good.
Yeah.
they're really good, and they were the head writers for the 2 or 3 years. But now the head writers are 3 other, and they've written some good skits. Like the head writers that wrote the one that the Kate McKinnon alien abduction one.
Oh, so fucking
Yeah,
good.
yeah. They wrote some of those. They wrote the David S. Pumpkins one.
Yeah.
and some of the. But it's just the people that they're hiring are nowhere near the caliber of the people, even in like the 2010s.
Yeah.
Whenever like Andy Samberg and the Lonely
Yeah.
Island were there.
Yeah.
Kristen Wiig.
Kristen
Wiig.
Yeah.
If they have a stand-up on there, the best part's always the opening monologue because they
Yeah.
let somebody write jokes and do them
Right.
without having to frame it inside of some weird fake commercial or
Yeah. Yeah.
an awkward dinner between trans whatever.
Or even sometimes non stand-up comedians like fucking Woody Harrelson's was great, right?
Yeah.
Like every now and again. Actually, the monologue's pretty much the only.
Well, the cold open was bad. It was just they need to stop making the same exact jokes about like Republicans and Trump that they've been making since 2016. Like, I guess it makes the people who like already like just eat up MSNBC clap or whatever.
Reverse dog whistle.
Yeah.
It's a can't suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whistle.
Yeah.
But I guess in the arena in the studio, it seems like you're bombing whenever because
Yeah, lights are-
lots of comedians have
No,
talked
I
about
think
how it
Gillis
seems like
was
you're
doing
bombing.
like a fake humble. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm doing good shtick.
Yeah.
He fucking tours arenas with Bert Kreischer.
Yeah.
He's fine. He's got the #1 Patreon.
But he was nervous. You could see him shaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, just watching it, I was just like, there's no standouts. There's a couple people who can be funny, but there's no Will Ferrell's or
Yeah.
Mike Myers
Yeah.
or any of
Andy
those.
Samberg's
Andy
or
Samberg's,
fucking
Norm
Adam
Macdonald's.
Sandler. Rest in peace. The best, maybe the all-time best.
He's the best Weekend Update anchor.
What was
that they've ever
SNL
had.
when you were in high school? For me, it was Adam Sandler,
Yeah,
Mike
Sandler,
Myers.
yeah.
That was the best.
Chris Farley. Yeah.
But that's, I think, still the best period for everybody if they want to look back.
I think so too, because I mean I watched a fair amount of like the Chevy Chase, like that the late 70s, early 80s era, and they were good, but I feel like the Chris Farley, Adam Sandler, all of that shit.
They're all still doing stuff. They're all still funny.
They're all still doing stuff.
And even after that, like the next few years, whenever it was Will Ferrell and like Chris Kattan when they were doing the Night at the Roxbury guys. Sherry O'Terry was good.
They redid the whole cast when they were in college.
The one, the superstar, what was
Superstar? Mary Catherine Gallagher.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. What's her name?
Oh,
Molly Shannon.
Molly Shannon.
And even like Horatio Sands and the Anna Gasteyer was really good, and then up through Tina Fey and Amy Poehler and all them in the 2000s. I mean, it was I would say it was a lot more consistently good in the early 90s through the mid 2010s, late 20 or early 2010s than it has been ever since.
So how much of this do you think is just us being old shitbags? Because I do think that you do. So something I've noticed.
I remember Will Ferrell. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? It took a week to be like, oh my God, comedian genius.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why they redid the whole cast?
Yeah, maybe it just takes longer for maybe that like.
So I've been a grumpy old man since I was 21.
Yeah. I have a friend who likes to argue with me. Constantly loves to post it is the children who are wrong or whatever, and I'm like, I hated stupid shit when I was 18 years old. I couldn't stand the dumb God, one of the I don't know if you guys are a little bit older, so I don't know if you guys remember that horrible band LFO where they're like, I like girls that wear Abercrombie and Fitch.
Yes.
I remember that.
Terrible song. Terrible song. And I remember arguing with like a bunch of the other kids who were normal like dudes and chicks who loved that song. I was like, that is the dumbest song I've ever. How does this song not make you just want to tear your hair out?
So the only reason that I don't think that this is pure old manism is because there is new shit that comes out, comedy and art otherwise, like music and shit like that, where I'm like, this is really, really, really good.
The reason Gillis got fired was because of theater nerds. Yeah. And the SNL has an identity crisis. A lot of people think it's an acting exercise, and they're trying to give it their all and be a thespian.
Yeah.
But when people say the episode sucked, they say none of it was funny. It's a comedy show.
Yeah.
They have comedy actors that take off and get movies and do great.
Right.
But there's such a little village scene in New York. That's how it started. Was like, this is our little second city kind of groundlings thing.
Right.
And it turned into, I mean, it still is a little bit of a drama club going on in there.
But you know what the difference is that it was funny back then. Those were funny people. Bill Murray and all those guys were funny people. Freaking, what's it? Belushi. Like,
Bill Murray's a good actor too.
Yeah.
You can.
The women, Jane, you ignorant slut.
Dan Aykroyd.
No, the woman.
I don't remember any of the women. Tits McGee. Slutty McVagina Juice.
Gilda Radner was one, of course, and then
on the topic of things that were funny and then less funny, and now that I think are starting to be funny.
Jane
again.
Curtin. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Did you watched any of the Jon Stewart on the Daily Show?
Yes, I watched both nights that he
me
did.
Me too. I honestly, so as much I know we've talked about, but as much as like I just hate the droning on about politics. He still, I feel like he just fucking fell right back into it.
Yeah,
didn't miss a beat, just went right to it, and it was like.
I'm sure he's welcoming back as a returning king by everybody. Like, oh my God, thank you so much. We've been floundering for a decade.
Yeah. Trevor Noah,
and that's another one where I'm like, I'm just not impressed with the chorus because in the old school Daily Show, just like in SNL, whenever you were watching those old SNLs, even if the guest wasn't that great or whatever, the bit players and the regulars would just take it, like especially like Will Ferrell, Sherry O'Terry, they'd always have the one where they were when him and what's her name were the weird swinger couple. They were constantly trying to get people to have sex with them.
My lover.
They would just Rachel Dratch. They would just bring out one of those skits, and you would laugh your ass off.
Right.
There's nothing like that now.
Have a mainstay.
Jon Stewart started out with Steve Carell, Stephen Colbert as his correspondents, Rob Riggle, Rob Corddry.
They were all doing the
Ed
Dana
Helms.
Carvey show together.
They were all so good. And now, who do they have now? They have Jordan Klepper, who, yes, he is like the Colin Jost or the Michael Che right now. He's the funniest one. And they have a bunch of random people that, act goofy or say, whatever
I've got
liberal
a hat on.
thing
I'm
people,
wearing a hat. I'm crazy.
Yeah, people can agree with, but I've not been impressed with the correspondence on these ones that I've been watching.
His whole we watched it the other day. We watched both of them at this like in one sitting, and it's like the first 10 minutes is fucking great.
Yeah.
And then they let's go to the diner, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
This is
Man
so,
on the street.
This
Yeah.
is so bad.
Yeah, and I'd noticed that like the quality of the correspondence had started going down towards the end of John's tenure because they got that. Oh, they had that Jessica Williams girl.
Oh yeah.
Who was like beautiful African American woman with long braids.
Yeah.
But she would just angrily yell
Yeah.
the points that she was making, and that was supposed to be funny. I mean, and it wasn't even they weren't even jokes. It was just, I'm mad because Republicans are racists.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
She should work at the pharmacy. Dude, I went to the pharmacy and it's all angry black girls. I'm like, can we have one place where like I can be treated like a professional? It was on the phone. I don't know if she was black. I mean, I showed up and of course,
Yeah.
but it could have been a thug ass white Hispanic whatever person wannabe with. She had those things, the flat piece of hair that gets pushed down here, whatever. I had to ask my daughter what they're called, what
Yeah.
they're doing. I was like, are those bingo wings, angel wings? What the hell is that?
Wings.
But yeah, I was talking to my neighbor. He works for the child detention, whatever. He's a
Oh yeah. One of those.
juvenile court
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah.
and he has to restrain kids. And there's a bunch of other people with the same job description that are women, and they don't have to restrain kids. Whenever there's somebody that has to get restrained, they call the guy. And he's like, we're all making the same. So there's no wage gash. They're all the same.
Yeah.
But the women do not have to restrain the kid. They always use the excuse, I'm wearing a skirt today. So they wear a skirt every day, so they don't have to restrain any kids.
Yeah.
So they have men restraining female kids.
And
Just
Any-
whoever's
any
strong
physical-
and stronger,
anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
big, strong.
Feet shoulder width apart.
Yeah.
Get a hold of them.
Wow.
But then so I was asking them, we were talking about it, I was like, well, what do the women are the ones that they call in for, like, if you want to get on their level and talk nicely
Yeah.
and convince somebody to come with you?
Right.
If they don't need to be restrained, like, is there something that the women do that the men can't? Like,
Right. Is there like an equal thing on
do
the
they
other?
cook
yeah.
lunch or something?
Right.
Or come on.
Yeah.
Something back.
Something. Yeah.
He was like, nope. They're making as much as us, and they do less. Obviously, they do everything we do except one thing, and they don't do anything to make up for it. And I was like, well, that's municipal. At least they're making the same money. There's no, those
There
job
can't be-
postings have an amount on them,
Yeah.
and you get the amount that's on the job posting.
I feel like that's a really like one way or the other. It's a very like equaling thing that happens in
Yeah.
like bureaucratic sort of jobs.
Yeah, violence jobs.
Violence
There's
jobs,
female
yeah.
prison guards. They got to fuck people up.
Yeah.
Do they even get the men to come do it? Or those are at the women jails.
Yeah.
Those at the women jails. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't get a nurse ratchet at the male jail.
No. Yeah. It's,
So I brought this up in our Discord. So I don't know how much politics you follow or what's going on in the headlines.
I
but,
do what I can to avoid it.
Right. I
but
try
still,
to.
I still
yeah.
get
it,
some.
like osmosis or something.
Yeah.
So have you heard about this Fannie Willis thing? So one of the DAs that's prosecuting Trump is banging one of the dudes that is on the team or whatever, and it's turned into this
They're
whole
politicized.
It's
sex
turned
now?
it's turned into this whole scandal. So it's like, oh, she might have to recuse herself or whatever, and it was like she took him on a trip on like the government dime where they basically just like went to a resort and banged the whole time, and she
What does he
As one does.
she
Tuesday?
absolutely maintains that they did split the cost and she didn't pay for anything of his, but she paid in cash. So there's no there's no record of it. So I just
Used her
listened to
husband's
it,
money.
and I don't know. I mean, I'm not pointing it out for any specific reason other than for Josh to tell this story, but she's an African American woman, so I kind of think that maybe if they had done what Josh's dad called the kiss of death on her, it might not have gotten to this point where it made the Democrats and the people prosecuting Trump look so bad. So, Josh, you have to tell us what the kiss of death is.
Yeah, what's
Two
the
of
kiss of
them.
death?
Yeah, there's two different systematic racism things that I was told about by an old guy that I know, may or may not be my dad.
Can we get his social security number?
Uncle
or-
Krusty. So the first one was he was selling timeshares door to door, and they would get this people sign up and do all this
Yeah.
paperwork, and then they couldn't pay for it, and it would cause a lot of problems for everybody. And they had to like repo the timeshare, and they realized it was all a certain type of person, but they weren't allowed to put that on the application to nip it in the bud before it started.
Like de-risk it,
It said no codes allowed, secret codes allowed. So they wrote, when it went to a family that was one of the ones that always defaulted on the payments, they wrote the word code on top of the application sheet with a colon and a blank. So they're like, there's no code. We're not using any code. See, here's the word code with a blank.
With nothing.
So
yeah.
no one used
the word code is the code.
Sometimes you got to break the rules. And then he worked for the defense. He was a defense contractor, and they had to have diversity, and there was whatever.
Yeah, well, you made it sound like if the applicant checked a couple boxes, they were immediately hired.
It's a perfect storm. If they get a black lesbian female, then that's 3.
Right.
So they get to make the government happy and get grants or whatever. So, but every time without fail, this woman would take long breaks.
She'd be shitty worker.
Not work, not show up late, leave early. And,
just lazy, whatever.
So they would do this thing that worked once, and so they started doing it all the time. It was called the kiss of death. They'd issue her a federally funded credit card and say, this is for you to pick up office supplies. Sign this affidavit that says if you ever use it for anything personal, you'll be immediately terminated. And without fail, 9 times in a row, she was like, well, I had to get gas. I had to get diapers. And they're like, all right, bye. Kiss of death works every time.
Yeah.
But then they just had to do it again. Like they 9 times in a row, they did not find a black female lesbian that would work. Like they knew that they were filling out a slot and they didn't have to do shit.
Right.
So they were like comfortable in their. They knew from both ends what was going on that thing.
So maybe now, if nobody enacts the kiss of death, maybe that bad worker just gets promoted and promoted and promoted and promoted until she is prosecuting Donald J. Trump and banging her boyfriend, who's a state's witness or whatever it is that in a hotel that she paid for on the government dime, but she says that it was cash.
So when I get accused of having enjoyed male white privilege. That's how I got a Super Nintendo, because my dad's job was firing those women. Sorry. I mean, I can't go back and give back the Nintendo.
No,
But I did enjoy was systematic, whatever it was.
Right.
I didn't know where it was coming from then. But if I could go back, I wouldn't go take the Nintendo away from myself. That's how I'm 6 feet tall, because I got fed good off the government money. We had a joke about how you can tell how long someone's been homeless by their beard length.
Oh, yeah.
And I reposted it on TikTok, and some guy got mad. He was like, how dare you mock people that are out on the streets struggling? And it started this whole back and forth with other people. This other guy chimed in and was like, I've been homeless 3 times. That's hilarious. That's fine. And then the guy, same dude, criticized something else. Something that we said, it was like it was one of those times on the comments where I really want to be like, it's a comedy show. It says comedy show. I'm putting comedy show satire on everything. We're not.
Yeah.
Trying to make a press release statement here.
This isn't. Yeah. I just read this thing about Hasan Minhaj. I don't know if you know about this, but
the things that came out recently.
Yeah, the stuff that came out recently.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this the other day because I told my wife, and of course she immediately took the other side. So just to explain what it is real quick, Hasan Minhaj did a bunch of bits where he just straight up lied to kind of leverage his position to get people to think things about society and racism. He
said his daughter got raped by Enron or something.
That's exactly what it was. Yes, it was his. He got sent anthrax in the mail, and his daughter got sick from it. And then there was another one about a guy at his mosque.
Got entrapped by the FBI or something.
And then
there was a girl. There was also a girl
who invited.
He asked out, and she said, "I can't because you're Indian or whatever."
But he didn't say that shit on stage. It wasn't part of a stand-up bit.
No, it was.
It was part of a stand-up bit, but way the context of it made it sound like, no, this is true to me, and I am teaching a lesson about racism. And
it was less haha stand-up, more like
Bill Hicks,
very Hannah Gadsby.
Oh God damn it! Don't get me started. So I told my wife,
get me started,
and she's like, "Well, you lie."
I was raped. I'm a lesbian, but I was raped.
Ripe a deedly dude.
Mina evil.
Got a little riperino.
They say not all men, but it's a lot of them.
My vagina duty.
So of course she immediately takes the side of, well, you lie all the time. I'm like, right, but I'm not. I'm trying to get people to laugh.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get people to believe things about the world based on a lie.
These are not statements.
That's like very fucking.
Yeah.
Like it carries a lot of weight to be like, my daughter got anthrax from a envelope that someone sent to me in the mail because they hate me because I'm Pakistani or Indian. I'm sorry, I actually don't know. I think he's Pakistani.
He's one of those.
We do more lying to protect people. Like my friend was the one with the girl with the 1-inch vaginal cavity. So please don't talk about her. And I was like, I'll just say it was a girl I dated a long time ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, many girls to do with you or whatever.
Right. Many girls could have a 1-inch.
Yeah, it's a pandemic.
There's definitely if you look at the context, it's not really arguable.
Yeah.
Unless you're putting your fingers in your ears and closing your eyes, going la 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 la. I'm going to believe what I want to believe because I have to believe this.
Yeah.
Which is what there was something about these are emotional truths, which immediately I was like, you shouldn't be a comedian.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't be making money doing comedy.
Right.
You should be one of those spoken word guys that even those people get like caught lying about stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
He
was actually, according to everything I've seen, he was going to be the next host of The Daily Show.
Yeah.
And because of this is why we now have Jon Stewart, at least on Mondays.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay,
hey,
good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You gotta crack a few
Now I'm
eggs.
glad he lied.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You gotta crack a few chickpeas to make a hummus. I was shopping for pants at Academy yesterday, and Lululemon turned everything gay.
Yeah,
There's all the pants are like high, tight, like ninja pants. They don't make normal pants anymore.
Yeah.
I was looking for a hoodie, a zip down hoodie. Nobody has them. They're all either pullovers or they're made of that Under Armour shit, the stretchy. Like there's no old school sweatshirt.
Can I get a beefy tee, please?
I had to go to Kirkland. I had to go to Costco to get a normal sweatshirt hoodie, and it still has like a collar now.
Your story, you reminded me. When I was working at a certain video game company, they brought in a massage person every week, and one day I went in. I'm like, I'm just gonna get this free massage. This seems like a good idea. So I'm laying there, and the chick starts massaging me, and immediately she starts talking, and I'm like, fuck. She's like, yeah, it's really this is like 2012. She's like, it's really crazy what Obama is doing with the ammunition. And I'm like, what? Yeah.
She started talking about Jade Helm and shit.
No, it was like 2012.
Okay.
Yeah. And so she's like, and I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, oh yeah. And she's like,
at least she wasn't giving you your prescriptions or anything important. I don't want that person in my mouth with a drill. If you can't be trusted to understand words.
Yeah, please.
So this podcast is brought to you by the NAMBLA has aligned themselves with a VPN service now. North American Man Boy Love Association VPNs, for if you want to have incognito internet and nobody can see what you're looking at, so that you can watch Netflix from England. It's exactly what it's for. It's not
for anything
else.
For anything else
weird.
Yeah.
It's just that NAMBLA is interested in investing in VPNs.
So which VPN?
They want you to be able to browse the internet without anybody seeing what you're looking at.
The VPN Lolita Express.
Most importantly, so that you can watch Swedish Netflix. That's what the VPN is.
No, it says specifically on the copy here. This is only for watching Netflix in other countries. You are only allowed to mention that use of our VPN service.
It's just financed by NAMBLA because they have money for some reason. How is that? That doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
How is there a NAMBLA?
I don't know. Yeah.
That's like the Klan. Like, how has this not
How
been?
is that a thing?
How are they people organized?
The Klan, in fairness, is barely a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Like the Klan is basically disintegrated into
It's
almost
Nazis now.
Not according to all the NBCnews.com articles that constantly get posted on the news subreddit. I say you can always tell an NBC News story because it's always white supremacist, Ku Klux Klan, racist, whatever.
Yeah.
There was a really, really good AP post that got posted. It got to like the top of news today, and it was man sentenced in first hate crime for killing black transgender woman. And then I see it immediately, and because I know the deeper story and the statistics behind it,
got to make
I
history.
love that it was just man found guilty.
First.
It was like no other details about the man.
Right.
And then you had to actually click on the article and read a few paragraphs in. They didn't put all the pertinent information at that first paragraph. It's just they just want you to think about a generic man that murdered this poor trans woman without any specific things about him.
So
I'm sure he's a straight white man.
What's the specific things about this man?
One of the things they love, the statistics that sites like the mainstream news or whatever loves to say is how transgender women are murdered at a higher rate, blah blah blah. Especially black transgender women. Yeah. They are the absolute. They're the highest murder rate of any of these subgroups or anything.
You need to get the hate off with the anti-Semitic people, but everyone's suffering more than everybody else apparently.
On a statistical level,
hate off.
What the black trans women are is sex workers.
Yeah,
and they are sex workers in very, let's say, inner city areas.
Yeah. So what color square can I put on my Instagram to raise awareness for black trans murdered women by white straight?
I think you have to put just a cartoon character of like a white straight man.
It's your shirt. It's the Apple logo.
Yeah.
Put that on your. NAMBLA is aligned with VPN, and Apple has aligned with bringing awareness to trans black women being murdered by straight white dudes.
Yeah, just by men. By men.
By men.
Yeah, right. We have to separate out the truly, truly evil, sinful part of the description of the murderer, which is man.
Why do we? I wish we could just cross-cut it a different way and be like, what percentage of those people are prostitutes?
Well, women don't murder anybody because they have to get out of bed. It involves work. Speaking of NAMBLA, there was a guy at Fat Tuesday at the kids' school at the drop-off for elementary school with a jester hat on with the little jingle bells, handing out necklaces to children
for Mardi Gras.
Yes.
Oh
yeah,
wow,
that's a fun thing. Yeah.
I mean, I've never been Catholic enough to like care what else goes on with those necklaces. I always thought it was a titty thing. That's a fucking titty thing.
It's a titty thing.
Mostly.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. There's no reason for anybody to be at an elementary school handing out beads. I don't care how Catholic you are or how Louisianian you are. Get that shit out of here.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I saw him and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he was like, "Happy Mardi Gras." And I was like, "That's an alcohol thing for that gay state next door. We don't even do that here, and you especially not at a school
of children."
I mean, at least go to ACC where the girls have boobs, and we'll take their shirts off because they already have low standards because they're at community college.
Because they're fucking ACC. Yeah.
Take the safe option.
I want to be able to figure out other ways to do the thing that the beads do to the women, like just in everyday life, like make it Mardi Gras every day.
Yeah, dicks out for Harambe. Dicks out for the lads.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're taking me back right now.
Yeah,
the good old days. Dicks out for Harambe days.
So I got a call at work, and I was in office mode. I was walking around. My cell phone goes off, and this guy, it said it was from Illinois. And the guy goes, "Hello, this is Steven, Officer Steven. I'm calling from the DEA to let you know that you're the prime suspect in a drug trafficking, money laundering charges." And I was like, "You guys didn't know about the child sex trafficking charges?" And I was thinking about it, and I was like, I've moved some stuff around.
Yeah.
Not enough for Illinois to notice.
Yeah. Right.
Like, there's no way. So I was like, "You're fake. This is fake. You're fake news." I hung up on him. He didn't call back. I was on too much coffee and in business mode at work, so I went to DEA.gov, and on the front page of DEA.gov, it's like, beware of this scam right now that's happening. People are calling and telling people that they're the prime suspect in drug trafficking, money laundering, whatever. I mean, so they're getting probably all the old people that have like still an AOL account.
Yeah. That's what they're going for.
Oh yeah.
It used to be the IRS. You owe the taxes. You must pay. You must send a picture of your vagina. I was getting these text messages, and they were from a +44 number, which is England.
That's
Great
England,
Britain.
yeah.
And it was like, "Oh, USPS can't deliver your package.
Yeah,
Please click this link."
So many
over and over. I got so many of them. And finally, I just replied, "Fuck off, Bajit." Yeah. And I never got any more. They completely stopped.
How could they get you? Could they do anything to get you? If they got specific. I mean, if they're in our algorithm or hearing what we're saying, and we're saying Beetlejuice, and Beetlejuice shows up and all that shit.
Yeah.
Why they should use, if they use that to have like telemarketers.
Uh-huh. Eventually, that's going to
hasn't
happen.
gone
We're going to be getting calls by AI.
Yeah.
So actually,
I heard you were talking about butt plugs.
Yeah, but it won't be an Indian accent. It'll be whatever is tailored for you to trust,
Donnie.
right?
Yeah.
It'll be AI Scarlett Johansson.
It'll be like it's
Shirley
my
Manson.
dad calling me. I'm very proud of you, son, and I just need you to go.
Dude, my buddy's grandma got a call, and it was like, "We have your grandson," and then it was his voice, like, "Grandma, help!"
Whoa.
Yeah, and she was like, "This is fucking crazy." She's like, "Fuck off," and hangs up.
Yeah.
She has no idea if he's actually kidnapped or not. So like,
Oh my god.
so like 2 weeks
You
later,
want a toe? I can get you a toe with nail polish.
2 weeks later, she sees him at dinner, and she's like, "Oh, by the way, I got a call from some people, and they said they had you, and they had your voice, and the whole thing." And he's like, "And you didn't like do anything? Like you didn't even think to like call me in that moment and be like,
Yeah.
hey, are you okay?" She's like, "No, I knew it was fake."
Yeah, you've had a good life.
Yeah.
You had a good run.
Yeah.
So yeah, they gave me some Pennsylvania pills, but they're not really Pennsylvania-y enough. They're opioids, but they're like a light dose. And I took the wrong ones at work, and I was all zorked out.
Yeah.
But speaking of drugs, Donnie, when he turned 40 years old, we had a big party here, and we bought him some cocaine.
Oh.
Because we wanted everybody to have fun at this party.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was here for a couple years because we don't care about it. And
You probably shouldn't have said when I turned 40. You probably should have said at a
yeah, it was a big
an
party.
unspecified birthday party,
Yeah.
maybe
At an
for-
unspecified
at-
address.
At
It was
nowhere.
a big
Specified
deal.
person.
And we wanted everyone to have fun, but we only used half of it.
So how much did you get? Like a teener or an 8-ball?
I
Like
had a vial, like a decent sized vial from someone who was during the fentanyl thing was actually getting good stuff.
Okay, yeah.
So people were at the party were freaking out like, I can't believe this has been tested. Are you sure? And then afterwards they're like, I can't feel my face. This is amazing.
Yeah, can't feel your face.
But 3 or 4 people from that party were very aware of how much there was left, and that it was still here
Right.
for like years afterwards.
Right.
So anytime they would come, it was like the precious ring. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd all
Like-
turn into fucking Gollum.
they would always ask about it.
Yeah.
These same 3 people. So we've had more fun with this cocaine
What, by not doing it.
by not doing it for the last 2-3 years.
So is that cocaine still around?
No, it's gone now.
The last time I did coke, we went to Vegas for Stu's bachelor party. Somehow, I don't even remember how this happened, but we ended up getting a suite at one of the big hotels. And the guy whose bachelor party it was, he wanted to stay in another hotel in just a normal ass room.
Yeah.
So we ended up not hanging out with him at all. And we had 2 8-balls of
Yeah.
coke, and we're doing the whole we're doing the whole fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
We go to fucking Spearmint Rhino. Our buddy's a DJ, so he like knows people. So we go to Spearmint
Nice.
Rhino. We're hanging out with Craig Robinson, which is fucking great.
Hell yeah.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, we end up back at the place, and some of the girls came back, and we're hanging out in this penthouse and sweet thing, and we're all doing coke, and the girls are happy because there's coke, right?
Yeah.
Like these girls fucking love coke, right? And I get fucking like obliterated, gone, and I'm in the bathroom yakking. It's like 3 a.m. or something like that. I have my head in the toilet, and this girl Elsie, who we've been hanging out with all night, she's super sweet. I mean, she's a hooker, but she's super sweet. Comes to the door, and she opens the door, and she's like, "Oh my God." She's like, "This is the saddest thing that I've ever seen." And I pull my head out of the toilet, and I'm like, "Somebody throw $20 at her so I can see her doing the saddest thing I've ever seen." The look on her face, she was so mortified. And the next morning, I woke up, and I was like, "Oh my God, it was so terrible."
Have you done it since you've been 40?
That was the last time I did it, and I was 34.
It's a 2-day existential crisis for me.
Yeah,
2 to 3
I can't-
days
I can't.
afterwards.
I
Like,
can't.
what have I done
Yeah.
with my life?
I can't anymore.
Everything, the lights are too bright, the sounds are too. It's a hangover, but
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah.
So I don't. It's not worth it for 2 hours.
Yeah.
The worst nights
No,
are when
right,
you
yeah.
drink until the bars close at 2, and then you go to somebody's
And then you start
house,
over
and
again.
Yeah.
then you keep drinking, and then somebody busts out the coke, and then the next thing you know, you're driving home, and the sun is coming up.
Yeah.
and as you're pulling into your driveway, and you just feel like a total, like just a complete asshole. You feel like just a piece of shit.
Well, and you have to smoke. Then you have to like smoke a ton of weed to like fall asleep.
And then I mean, even when I was like in my 20s, it ruins like the next 2.5 days because it's that come down.
But then we used half of it, so there's half left, and then all these people kept coming by for the last couple of years until we got rid of it. Where they were like, "Oh, can I?" They were like, "Let's do it," which basically means, "Can I have it?"
Yeah.
Like, if no one else here wants to do it, and you are the only one that wants to, they're basically like asking Donnie for $100. Like, hey, can I have $100 right now?
Yeah.
Just give it to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm here and I want to have fun.
Right.
Like, so we have leverage for that, but we'll talk about that later.
If I was a single guy, I would always have just a few bumps laying around.
Yeah.
Just in case
Strippers come over.
I mean,
or just a
random
woman.
Dixie
of
chicks
whores.
come and blow everybody.
Yeah. Just to have it, just in case there's a girl who likes it, and you're like, okay, well, that now it's like
it's an in.
we went from 90% to 100%.
Yeah, right.
But it's definitely was never for those people to come back and have it.
No,
that was never the intent.
That was
for not finishing it or having some left.
Sometimes
not so that you could come back and beg for it
just
8 times.
That's It's
Yeah.
like what they say that when is it you really find out who your friends are whenever like hard times or whatever.
It's my birthday and I want it.
Yeah, that is how you really find out which one of your friends are pieces of shit.
It's a litmus test.
Yeah.
So you turned what could have been 15, 20 minutes of fun for a group of people into 3 years of fun for us.
Yeah.
Watching these dorks come and go like, hey, what's going on with it? I'm a little tired. I'm a little tired. I feel like I want to hang out more.
Yeah.
But
man.
Man, we had a friend of ours that he lives on the other side of town, and there were so many times where we'd all go get tickets to a show, so we'd be like, oh, we're gonna meet up at Stubbs or whatever. But somehow he always just, after the one time, he always just was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to swing by down your house and we'll go from yours.
Yeah.
And then so that while he was in the house, he'd be like,
while I'm here, why don't you give me $100?
Yeah. And we just went, nope.
Yeah.
I think it's appreciated in value since then, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Like real estate.
Well, especially the kind without fentanyl.
Yeah, right.
That's really worth
the
something.
kind where you get to still be alive after. It's pretty cool.
I had a joke the other night. I said it to exactly 3 people at the the South Mic open. Dude, there was no one there.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
Was that the night that? Was that the one that Josh sent me a picture? He's like, looks like it was crowded because they
angled it.
But the angle they got the heads of the 3 people who were in the audience.
There was like literally 3 people in the audience.
Yeah.
One guy was a comedian.
Yeah.
One guy was the owner, and one guy was Mike, the announcer guy.
So was there only 2 people that you and this one?
No. All of the 7 comedians who went before me all left as soon as they did their thing. It's like, thanks. You couldn't hang around for 35 fucking minutes.
That's etiquette.
That's the etiquette, man.
Well, not if you have another mic to be at. If you're trying to hit all the mics.
The building owner's responsibility to fill the room.
Yeah.
I can't. I filled the room 3 weeks in a row, and I'm like, I can't do this work for free anymore for y'all.
Yeah.
I brought like 5 people every time.
Well,
if everyone else had done it,
pay $35 for 3 beers.
Can they do a drink special? Can they be like, hey, I feel like someone needs to talk to this guy realistically about this. Like, you can't have it 35 fucking yards from Giddy Ups where you can get drinks for half the price and have just as much fun.
Yeah, that's right.
You know? I don't know. It's weird.
There has to be a way to do South Austin comedy, and I think they need to put it where there's already a crowd. Mm-hmm. And somebody fucked up the Moon Tower one because the volleyball people got mad. But there's a couple other packed places around there. Maybe Sam's Town Point would be good. Some place where there's already people that would be down to go. One of those bigger places with like multiple rooms.
Yeah.
But they can't. It's not going to work at a new venue. Mm-hmm. It didn't work with South Austin Comedy Club. It didn't work with Regal Rooms. I think it has to be an existing crowd.
I almost
be into that.
I mean, I probably will try to go to Regal Rooms one more time or something, but I'm not really into it. Like, if they can't put people in that place without me inviting a bunch of friends, like
if we bring a bunch of people, then we'll have a room full of 20, 30 people that we all know. So if you bring 5, this is the same like the gospel hour. You tell your friend and have them tell their friend. That's how you spread the gospel.
I mean, that's how you get your offerings. That's how you get your tithes, your 10%.
So I had a new joke that it was relevant like 3 minutes ago before we started shitting on the Regal rooms, but it was another one-liner. If you've been in a restaurant kitchen, every food is Mexican food, unless it's a Japanese restaurant, then it's Korean food.
The origin of that would go good with my I'm only racist when there's a hair in my food.
Yeah. I didn't. That may have actually been the catalyst for that joke.
That's good. We're stimulating each other. So the first time I got a root canal, I fell asleep because I had a newborn, and the dentist was like, "We've never seen this before." They were going to put my picture on the wall. They did, and at the end, I was paying, and they were like, "You got nitrous, right?" And they were checking my face for the straps, and I was like, "No, I didn't get nitrous." They were like, "How did you fall asleep during a root canal?" And I was like, "I have a newborn. I don't sleep. I haven't had a NARP in a long time. I don't know what that is."
Yeah.
This is the first time I've been able to lie down and not have anybody asking me to do anything for 2 hours.
Right.
This
is glorious.
It was actually kind of nice that you numbed me up and doing stuff in my mouth. I don't have to talk.
Yeah. Did you get nitrous this time?
No. They didn't even offer it. I just let them do what they were doing, and
they don't really offer it. I unless you ask for it, I don't think they'll even consider it. Because I've had work done or whatever lately, and they don't put any of that on me. I kind of wish they would. I want to get all happy,
a little bit loopy.
Yeah.
We can get. We like to keep some stuff around here for a rainy day. Get a tank.
When I was after that accident, I had to have this tooth pulled and all this shit. And I had NOS for the first time when I was like 14 or something. When I was 19, I was living with these criminal guys, and I told the one guy, we were talking about nitrous, and we're doing those like little whippet things, and he was like, I was like, "Hey man, like my periodontist, they had nitrous, and his office is over here." He's like,
"Nice.
Say no more." And 2 or 3 days later, we had a tank of nitrous. It's like
he was giving directions based on where he knew it was. Take a left past where I know they have all that. That's how people drove past here for 2 years. Go down straight past Donnie's house where he's keeping that $100 worth of cocaine. My whole life is oriented around
getting
geography of where.
Geography.
Stop by for a second.
I know there's coke here.
So my kid was watching some YouTube thing, and the guy was talking about this girl that got mad that she felt unsafe, and I didn't want him to get infected with this mind virus of, people being mad to be having been made to feel unsafe.
Right.
I was like, "Well, don't be mad at that guy. He's just trying to get some pussy."
Yeah.
And my son started cracking up, so I just could not stop saying pussy like Bernie Mac when he said milk and cookies.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get some pussy. Don't be mad at me for trying to get some pussy.
So, did the wife hear? Did you get in trouble?
No, she had her earbuds in.
Oh, perfect. She was listening to murder podcasts.
I invested in my own safety by buying some Jabras.
Yeah.
Kitchen Jabras.
I'm convinced that the only reason that first of all, 99% of the time that she's got the goddamn earbuds in, she's listening to murder podcasts.
Yeah.
And I'm convinced now that it's just like, it's a case study, or it's like a compilation of case studies, and she's compiling like how she's going to do it, and how she's going to get away with it.
Dude, women want to get murdered so bad.
Oh no, I'm talking about how she's going to murder me and get away with it.
It's one or the other.
Yeah.
No, getting murdered, the result is you're famous and you never have to do anything again.
Oh.
So that's like a double fantasy for girls.
It checks the two most important
Never
boxes.
work again.
Yeah.
And you're famous for being beautiful.
Yeah, right. I bet they're so jealess of women who got murdered.
Yeah.
Like,
so
I mean, that
beautiful, she
freaking,
got killed.
especially when the pregnant ones like Lacey Peterson or whatever, that Chris Watts guy that killed his pregnant wife and his 2 daughters and put them in drums on his work site.
That guy, yeah.
Have you ever watched? Have you ever heard of the Jim Can't Swim YouTube channel where they go to the interrogation?
Yeah.
His was one of the first ones they ever posted where they broke it down and all the tactics they were using on him and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why don't these idiots just say lawyer?
Yeah.
It's like they always try to convince the cops that they didn't do it.
Well, it's because they think they're smarter than the cops.
I guess. They
always think they're smarter than the cops.
My favorite ones are the freaking To Catch a Predator. I still go back and watch To Catch a Predator episodes, like those old. And like there's a whole community around it now where everybody's like obsessed with the individual guys and they track them and they find out what's been going on with them and all that. And then when they die, they have like a party, like a death party for them and all that.
Man,
but those guys, I'm like, why are you saying anything to these cops? Because they're trying to, because it's so shameful what they're doing.
Right.
They're trying to convince them. I wasn't going to do anything.
Right,
I wasn't going to do anything. Well, we have these chats,
That's what we're saying about Gina Carano.
Yeah.
She was talking about her lawyer and saying all this stuff, and I was like, you don't have a lawyer. Your lawyer would have told you not to say shit.
Yeah.
And you're saying everything. She did like a wall of text, like an angry ex-girlfriend
Right.
about the Lucasfilm stuff.
Yeah.
It was like, obviously, if you have a lawyer, you didn't listen to them, or they're not Jewish enough because they didn't tell you to shut the fuck
Jewy
up.
lawyer. Yeah.
Well, they're Elon Musk's lawyers because Elon Musk is paying for it.
Yeah.
Because
So
he
gracious.
paid that. I guess it's a matter of record or whatever that he paid for the Amber Heard side of Johnny Depp.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because he dated her after Johnny Depp did. After all that stuff.
Oh.
The Me Too bowel movement.
Yeah.
Speaking of creeps, my kid is in Boy Scouts.
Yeah. Speaking of NAMBLA.
And I had to do this training to
They're
become.
just trying to get some pussy.
Just trying to get some boy pussy. And I had to do this training. And they have this, now they've gotten all this trouble. They have this new system of leadership where you can never be alone
Top down.
with a boy. Too deep. It's literally called too deep leadership.
Oh, no.
Meaning
It's like your depth chart. It's like you got, our offensive line is too deep, but it also sounds like
maybe they should call it something else, or maybe they should call it like numerically too deep or something like that. But like, and it's like very freely used too. It's like, hey, we need
to go too deep on this guy.
So and so needs to go to the bathroom. And like on a camp out, it's like, we need to fulfill the too deep requirement.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's like, no, that was not like you have like no one working on the marketing side of this thing.
it's like
Not
the Boy
deep
Scout,
enough.
like the Boy Scout version of the Mike Pence rule. Like Mike Pence was like, I will never be alone with any woman without somebody else in the room.
Right.
Hey, it works.
Plausible deniability.
We call it the mother rule.
Yeah.
Did you watch True Detective?
I watched the first season and the third season.
So the new one, everyone's mad.
Yeah.
It was a cop murder mystery,
Yeah.
but it was very girl powery, and it turned out the big secret at the end, that solved the mystery of what happened, was a bunch of yelling, screaming, angry women. That was the big finale. It was of all these angry women came in and got mad and yelled, and I was like, "This is exactly what everybody was saying. Why this is going to be dumb."
I'm glad you told me that.
Another
'cause
self-fulfilling.
It's on my list, and now I'm probably just going to take it off my list.
My sources, what I call my filters,
Yeah.
because I don't want to sit and watch a show for 12 hours if it's going to suck or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So I just like kind of see what certain critics and certain commentators are saying.
Yeah.
Well, Jodie Foster is cool.
They were all like, this doesn't make sense. It's like there's weird loose ends. There's side tangents that it goes off that don't mean anything. They keep trying to like link it back to season one, because that was the one that everybody liked. That was the good one and all that.
Yeah, they explained the spiral and time is a flat circle.
And then Nick Palazzo starts retweeting people complaining about it. Like, because he's technically executive producer, but he didn't have anything to do with this season.
I feel like George Lucas retweeting tweets about how Last Jedi sucked.
Yeah. So
look how they ruined my
and so
thing.
that turned into that's turned into like a whole thing. Oh, it's been great watching him. But the general consensus amongst people that I follow who tend to know what's good and what's bad is that it's pretty bad.
Well, I thought they were both going to be lesbians because they're both strong female leads.
Yeah.
But then they were obviously very straight. And it was like this similar thing how they used to show that women were strong by being gay. Now they're like, they get dick whenever they want. They're very straight, and they actually empower themselves over these guys. The girl that gave the guy
Neither
a
one of them are
forced
gay?
screenplay. Nope.
Not even the chick with all the metal in her face isn't a lesbian?
Nope, they fuck dudes powerfully.
Yeah.
And you should be afraid of how powerfully they fuck the dudes.
But I thought that you're not supposed to be, if you're an actor, you're not supposed to play what you're not. So if you're a lesbian in real life, then you should only be able to play. That's what I.
Are they lesbians in real life?
Well,
Yeah.
Jodie
Jodie
Foster.
Foster,
Yeah, Jodie Foster is.
lesbian?
Oh yeah.
I don't know that.
It's none of your business what
Well,
she does with her vagina. And another vagina also at the same time together sexually.
Unless it is your business.
It's kind of an open
sex
secret
pervert.
for a long time, but I'd say within the past 10 or 15 years, she's actually
Pretty
come
cool
out.
open
Yeah.
secret compared to like Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
right.
tame
That's
in comparison.
that's a nice open secret.
Yeah.
That's a
Oh, she's gay. That's fine. I finally watched The Marvels because it came out in 4K, and it
Are you-
basically the whole movie is about cats barfing,
yeah.
and that's like part of their women power thing. I'm like, look at strong women and a bunch of cats barfing, and
Catwoman.
I was like, that's already my house. I have a cat that barfs, and there's women yelling.
Yeah.
I don't need this movie. The Joker 2 has double the budget of the first one. I guess that's because Lady Gaga's in there, so there's not going to be a wage gap.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna. I don't know what they're
yeah.
gonna do. What they're because the first one was a real low budget one, but
They're going to pay Lady Gaga to do
well,
anything.
she can't be that expensive. She was in A Star Is Born.
They're not
That's
going to
about
have
it.
special effects. It's kind of a grounded in reality type thing.
I feel like it doesn't matter if it's fucking Lady
It's a musical.
Gaga,
There's musical numbers. She probably wrote some
Is there-
songs, and she wants all that money too.
Is there musical? There's no
Yeah, it's
musical.
going to be a musical. is what
Joker
they
2
say.
is going to be a
That's
musical.
what they say. I don't know.
Tifa. There's a bunch of Tifa cosplay with who cow fetish stuff. Was she ever wearing a cow outfit in any of the game?
No.
That you pick one. You can either be Tifa or a cow. I don't know why these women are dressing up and saying I'm a Tifa cow. There's no Tifa. This Tifa's the chesty woman from Final Fantasy that everybody fetishizes.
Yeah, yeah.
Every time we usually do nerd news, I'm like, great, Tifa's trans testicles. It's nerd news time. I forgot this time.
But they did confirm from a video that just came out, she does have big old titties.
Yeah.
Because there was a bunch of argument when the first of these remakes came out that they lowered the size of her boobs. But there's still some nice big sloppers.
Tigolds, huh?
Do you have periods in your 20s when you don't remember a lot of it? Like you're drinking a lot?
Yeah.
I think that's the multiverse.
That's the multiverse.
You can't be accountable for what may or may not have happened, or it was a different guy.
It's like you phase shift into a different multiverse.
There are infinite possibilities of what I may or may not have done in my
Yeah.
20s.
What's the age where you're not allowed to like use that anymore? Because I remember like when I was in my 20s, like me and my group of friends would be like something bad would happen, like you would like fuck some guy's girlfriend. You'd be like, dude, I was really fucked up, and everyone would be like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that's true. But then at some point that was like no longer acceptable. Like you couldn't do it.
And it feels like a sliding scale, like over time. Whenever you're 23, it's like, oh my god, I murdered a prostitute. But I was drunk. I don't remember. But now it's to the point where it's like, oh, I called my wife a bitch.
Right.
You know?
Honestly, I would have rather have like lived with the guilt and shame of murdering a prostitute and the guilt, shame, and kind of like outcomes, just the outcomes generally of murdering a prostitute when I was 23 than calling my wife a bitch now and getting caught.
Every 7 years, every cell in your body replaces itself, so you can't say that was another dude.
That's true.
Yeah. I like that.
The we are pregnant thing we were talking about last week.
Yeah.
It would be really funny to have sex with a girl and premature ejaculate, and then be like, "We came, we had a great orgasm together." If we're pregnant, that means we just came.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do everything together.
Yeah.
I was doing a joke a long time ago about how is the word tidy whities racist? Because only white dudes' dicks can fit in those small underwear. Black dudes wear boxers. And then I was going to add something to it about how white people can feel represented watching small penis humiliation porn.
Yeah.
I feel seen. I feel heard with this. It's too much Mandingo porn, and now there's finally something for me. And then for inclusivity, now they have the kids. You can't say Indian style anymore. You have to say crisscross applesauce
Yeah.
and all that
That's
stuff.
stupid.
Yeah.
So now, if you teach your kid how to tie his shoelaces, it's not the bunny goes in the hole. It's the gay guy sticks his dick in the trans guys. You have to make the loop, and so they can learn about inclusivity.
Right.
Anything
right.
else is literally murdering LGBTQ youth.
Make a hole, and then the penis goes in the butthole, and now everybody's equal.
Yeah. And that's the natural way. 60% of the population.
60% of the population.
We used to know the girl with the stinky pussy, and she wore a lot of cover up. Like you could smell it from this cover up stuff, perfume, whatever, the rose water.
Yeah.
from far away.
At what point does that just replace in your brain with smelly pussy. So you
quick,
smell
right.
that, you know it's
Right. It's like Pavlov's dog.
Yeah.
You know?
The second time you see that person and you smell it, you're
Right.
like, oh my god.
Right.
But we had a famous bakery in Virginia called Great Harvest Bread Company, and they had like really nice homemade circular loaves. You could get cranberry, walnut, and all this stuff. So we started calling this girl Great Harvest all the time because she's
yeast.
yeah, because she had a yeast infection.
What? Yeah. I mean, I feel like stinky pussy isn't like a
Here comes Great Harvest.
isn't like a
Around the corner, watch.
it's not like a thing that happens in perpetuity. It's like you have a stinky pussy because of a condition. You get rid of the condition.
Yeah.
You're never gonna understand the pain.
It's
Okay, don't try to sympathize.
A man can never. So
But a woman can never understand the pain of having smelly balls.
yeah. Every once in a while, like at jobs, and it's usually at work because there's always like the old ladies like catch the whiff of the old lady perfume, and I'm like, what makes them
Grandma's
think
bathroom.
it smells good?
No.
I think that the same thing happens in men and women's brains whenever they get a certain age, where for women they think that the old lady perfume smells good, and for men it's I'm gonna walk around the changing room in the gym with my dick out, just dangling.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang out naked
Yeah.
in the men's locker room.
So I have a question about that. Did your dads do that when you were a kid? Because my dad did. He's like, hey, it's just normal. You just go around, and I was like,
Walk around naked.
I just really don't want my
Or
dick
not.
out
Yeah.
at
How
the
about
thing.
not?
So the thing for me is that I never did that in changing rooms with my son.
It's like a generational trauma thing. Like I had to go through it. Now you have to look at my old balls.
Right. But the crazy thing is that my kid used to love to go around
Yeah.
naked in the changing room. The first time we went to Zilker, he was like 9.
Yeah.
And we were in the changing room, or Zilker, Barton Springs. What am I talking
yeah.
about? Barton Springs. We're in the changing room, and he's like, Dad, there's people who aren't wearing their pants. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, some like older guys like to do that. And he's like, can I do that? And I'm like, if you want.
It's a free country.
And he's like, oh, sweet. Boom, pants down, walking around. I'm like, oh shit. This is like playing an instrument. Like it skips a generation or some shit. Like this dude loved to have his dick out in the changing room.
my dad. I don't think I ever went into a changing room or a locker room with my dad.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the pool. We went to. We actually were country club members, and there wasn't really a big changing room
Check
situation.
your privilege, Donnie.
Jesus
Right.
Christ, yeah.
We weren't the YMCA people. We weren't
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
We weren't those peasants. We didn't go to the city.
I poop on you.
Yeah, we didn't go to the city pool. We didn't do any of that. But yeah, I never got that. But I guess I just didn't spend a lot of time in locker rooms where dads and their sons.
Can you sit? Can you sit like
Changing.
this? Do you guys? Can you sit cross-legged all the way, like with crushing your balls?
I thought you were like asking me to sit like that because
No,
my
I
nuts
never
were hanging
do.
out. Yeah.
No, I never. I see a lot of podcasts of guys sitting like this with all the way.
I can.
And I'm like, ow.
I can, but it's like you have to do a very particular thing.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
the nuts, yeah.
my legs don't go that way. I do
can't
the
be
thing with the
comfortable like
ankle
that.
on the knee,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and to where I have my legs make a nice number 4.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Same.
that is a masculine way of
Right.
crossing your legs.
Yeah, I hate.
Whenever
seeing
you cross at your ankles, like a woman,
I don't use a straw. I don't ring the doorbell, and I don't cross my legs like a goddamn woman. If I look at shit on the heel of my shoe, I don't look at it from behind like this. I go like this.
have you had the
rules.
There are rules.
I haven't done this on a gay guy yet, but there's the whole look at your hands, and if you tell a woman to look at her hands, she looks at her nails, and if you tell a man to look at his hands, he looks at his palms,
Right.
and it works every time.
Yeah.
But I haven't tried it on anyone that's not straight. So
Yeah. Who's remember Mr. Blue Hands, the guy that got fucked to death by a horse?
yeah.
That was the BBC. That was Black Beauty's cock. You were talking about trying to find your fetish on porn and how it wouldn't autocomplete.
Yeah.
And I was like thinking of a Jeff Foxworthy, like, if it takes you as long to find your fetish in the scrolly list as it does to get to your year of your birth, you might be too old to be looking at porn. Like, I've been scrolling for a long time and I still haven't
found it.
Cagney Lynn Carter just killed herself. There's a porn star that just died.
She took her last load.
Yeah.
That's what the last rights are for. And it said she was 36, and I was like, Oh my God, she's so much younger than me. It's like whenever you get to the point where like the football players are younger than you, it's like, oh my God, the quarterback of the L.A. Rams graduated from high school in 2009.
Yeah.
That's when it starts. It's athletes and porn stars.
Right.
That's when you know you're getting old. When the porn stars die and they're like 35 and you're 42.
At least there's still at least not all of them are older than us at this point. Right. Like there's still like Tom Brady's like 45, right?
Oh, Tom Brady's done. He's retired.
Did he retire?
Yeah. Tom Brady and Drew Brees were the two oldest ones, and they're retired now. So I think I'm older than everybody in the NFL now.
Me too then.
So you used to go to the Comedy Store in L.A.?
Never did comedy at the Comedy Store.
You
did
went.
comedy at the Laugh Factory, but went to the Comedy
And
Store.
now you've been to Mothership. How did because Mothership was built in the spirit of the store.
Yeah.
Can you tell, or is it comparable?
Yeah.
Experience?
You know something that really struck me the other night?
A dude's penis.
Yes.
In your forehead.
I'm at
A blast of jizz.
I'm at the fucking Mothership, and I'm waiting in line to go to take a leak after the show's over, and I'm looking around, and on the wall there's Lenny Bruce.
Nice.
There's records, right? So there's
Yeah.
Lenny Bruce, there's Bob Saget, there's Norm Macdonald, there's Richard Pryor, there's every great comedian that you can imagine, and just kind of like very casually mixed in there's a Joe Rogan album. And I'm like, no.
Nobody's buying that.
Look,
album.
dude, that's fine. Okay, it's your place.
Yeah.
You can do whatever the fuck you want. But you are not the same as these fucking people.
Oh, I did the same thing when I had that mic at Cedar Door. We did a second Saturday showcase a couple months, and I gave myself 10 minutes with the other guys that we asked to come do like regular time and pay them.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not ready for this. I don't have 10 minutes, but I want to perform with these guys.
But the Joe Rogan thing to me feels like Trump putting fake Time magazine articles, like Time magazine covers around his office, because he did that.
Right.
Trump had fake Time magazine covers with him on it made to put around. That's almost to that level.
Well, because I just honestly don't even believe that there was a Joe Rogan record actually pressed.
Yeah.
Like, he's a fine, mediocre.
So do you think somebody was kissing his ass and did that, or he told him
No,
to do
I
that?
don't know. It feels
I'm
like a Rogan thing.
sure
Yeah.
He a lot of sycophants over there.
Dude, I'm really happy about Joe Rogan generally. Like, like the fact that he put this club down here and there's all this comedy shit going on here, it's fucking great, right? But
I enjoyed Fear Factor. I enjoyed News Radio. I've enjoyed all of his stuff.
Right? All of it.
We rented his Netflix DVDs.
But you are not Lenny Bruce, Joe Rogan.
You're not known for your stand-up comedy.
You're not known. You're known for having people eat fucking bugs.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
like
the
then
Hassan
doing a podcast.
Menage a Trois effect. He tried to give medical advice. And now he's kind of disqualified from.
for life, from everything.
You get to be a doctor or a comedian. You can't do both. Pick one.
yeah.
You're selling pills, so you've picked.
Right. Oh yeah. What's it called? Someone just told me.
Alpha Brain.
Alpha Brain.
There's a bunch of them.
So I bought this knockoff Athletic Greens it has all the same kind of like stuff, right? And now I basically need it to take a shit every day. So whenever I travel, I basically don't shit for like 4 days because like it has to be refrigerated.
Yeah.
So the other day, I heard Huberman, one of these guys, talking about how Athletic Greens have travel packs, and I'm like, dude, you've resisted buying the 3 times as expensive supplement forever. So I fucking bought it to get the travel supplements. Like, if you bought it, the first time you buy it, you get like the 30-day supply and you get 5 travel things. And I'm like, 5 travel packs will basically last me a year.
What's
right?
the difference between a travel pack and a normal?
They don't have to be refrigerated. They're individually packaged with like, since they're individually sealed, you don't have, once you open it, you don't have to put it in the fridge because you use the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I bought it.
Take Swiss Chris supplements, or wait, they're herbal laxatives.
Yeah.
If you want to take a shit, I tried to use some to cheat on a weight loss contest, and I shit my bed. I was trying to scare the kids with a fart the next morning, and I was like, "Oh, there's a dot. There's a brown dot."
You don't ever trust a fart after you take something like that.
No.
Like
I did it because Ali Sadiq, he recommended this comedian. I recommended him. He was like, "You eat 2 of them the night before. It'll work its way through your system, and you'll shit out all the toxins in the morning." And I was like, he has control over his lifestyle. He has no kids with him. He's on the road.
Right.
he can shit
Right.
when he wants.
Right.
I can't with a 9 to 5 and wife, 2 kids.
Right.
Schedule around what's going to happen with these things.
Right. I'm living a very particular kind of existence.
I'm a man of exquisite tastes.
Yeah. I ordered that shit. They didn't fucking send the travel packs. So then I had to like open a customer service request.
This is a reverse commercial. This company sucks.
I was not happy about this situation. I'm like, I spent $90 on this shit. I want my travel packs.
You know who? You know what Kodiak cakes are, right? It's like mixes, like muffin mixes and all that, but it's like higher protein.
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever,
yes,
right?
yeah.
So I got really into those a few years ago because they're like the perfect little portion for like, because I was like doing a lot of bodybuilding, and at night I like to have something cakey and sweet a lot of times. So Josh knows, and so
birthday boy.
So I was like, they had all these different flavors of it that I'd never seen in stores on their website.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I'm going to try all these different like muffin cups or whatever. So I order like 16 different muffin cups of like 5 different flavors or whatever, divided up. And so I order them, and they do that thing where they're like, deliver through UPS, but like at the very end they transfer it to the postal service.
Oh yeah.
And then it just never got delivered. And so I never got it. So I went on their website and I gave them 0 stars on the review of my order. And I said, well, it would have been nice to have got my order, but you guys had to give it to this piece of shit, postal service. Those lazy degenerates can't deliver a thing to save their lives.
So how many free ones did you get?
2 days later, it shows up on my door. They rushed and like FedExed it to me.
Nice.
I was like, okay, how do I change my review? Like, I felt bad because it wasn't really their fault, aside from maybe there was a different shipping option they could have taken.
Right,
But
yeah.
I was just using it to call and I was like, piece of shit postal service in my review. It probably got flagged and wouldn't be posted or whatever. But
We need to do god awful restaurant reviews.
yeah. Well, back when we were doing the Drunk Cast thing, we wanted to go on a barbecue tour to all like Lockhart and all the barbecue places and do a review and all that, but we never got it. Cooper's and Llano, I guess, was really good.
Cooper's and Llano's my favorite. Dude.
Yeah. Well, I've always wanted to go to Snow's, which is out in Lexington, which is out towards College
Yeah, the
Station.
old lady.
I've heard
the old lady.
I've heard Snow's is the best. Yeah.
And now that I haven't been to the Interstellar Barbecue, the one here that got on the Texas Monthly list out of nowhere, like its first year.
Yeah.
Last year, the year before, I haven't been there.
Did you hear about the? I went just on a whim. I heard about it last minute. The Barbecue Fest in Lockhart.
No, I haven't.
So like 3 months ago, they had this thing called the World's Fair of Barbecue, or the Texas Monthly Barbecue Fest.
Okay.
And all those places were there. They all had booths, and you could just walk around. Now, having said that, I spent like $700 on barbecue that day. It was really, really expensive, but it was good.
Yeah. I mean, I've gone to some of the places around here, but
If the website says open from 10 a.m. until we run out, then you know it's going to be good.
Yeah,
that means they're used to running out and they have to tell you.
Yeah, that means you need to show up an hour or two before 10 a.m. and get in line at a lot of these places.
Limited time only. Felt cute, might delete later.
Yeah.
Barbecue.
Yeah.
It's going to be gone soon.
Yeah.
You're going to go to hell. You got to put money.
Oh man.
Every advertisement ever is a threat.
Yeah, yeah. All right, we're hit 122. You got anything else, Josh?
No, thank you.
All right. Well,
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. We will be streaming the new Final Fantasy VII game starting next weekend, probably, right?
Dun, dun. I got a penis in my butt. Dun, dun.
If I'm free, can I come over and make fun of you guys?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sweet.
It's I should be getting it on Friday, I think, because I think it technically comes out Thursday because it's February 29th.
Ah,
I
shit.
think we're going to start watching Shogun over here, too, if you want to join us for that ever.
Oh, nice.
The new FX show about the book.
Yeah.
It's coming on Tuesday, but we're going to wait until he gets it in 4K with no commercials and
Oh, nice.
have a theatrical experience. You can have one of the daddy seats if you want. We can switch.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, well, that's it for this week. We'll be back with you later. Bye.